you can choose or attempt to choose what world you're actually resonating in. I feed birds on my terrace. And when you feed birds, that's, maybe the lower worlds, maybe Osea world or Yetzirah world for the birds. But you're really feeding malachim, angels. You see? Because in the Etziliyot world, these birds, these doves, pigeons, are malachim, angels. So as the worlds come down and become more physical, the feeding of birds here is actually the feeding of malachim. With this kind of consciousness, other things open up to you and for you. And this is one of the things that opened for me today. A consciousness of I had this concept of what I call a sabur, which I think it's an Arabic word, means like a porter in a train station carrying bags. Patiently. Sabur means patience. It's the highest level of consciousness. It comes out to be Eric Anpin. Eric Anpin means long of breath. A long breath, as opposed to Zir Anpin, which is short breath. And Eric Anpin, by the way, is two Alephs in shorthand. Aleph, quotation mark, Aleph, Eric Anpin. It means long of breath. It means patience. And Zia Anpin is Zion with an Aleph. It only has one Aleph there because it's less patience. Well, here's what happened to me today, and that one Aleph, by the way, that patience, Zir Anpin is basically Tiferet, and Tiferet is its middle letter is the Aleph. And everything comes out of the Aleph. And so today I've been meditating and came to me, 1,000 years in your sight is like yesterday when it is past. And the whole idea of patience. And not to worry about my own one lifetime. But I'm just a drop in a bucket, a link in a chain of 1,000-year period. It came up the other day because that's how Islam is trying to fight its war. It views things in 1,000-year period, where we here in the United States fight everything as now. We want it now. I want it and I want it now. That's how the commercials go. And so Psalm 90, verse 4, that's that line. 1,000 years in your sight is like yesterday when it is past. And then I'm thinking of the 1,000, because I hear the 1,000. And what is the 1,000? The 1,000 is a large Aleph. That's what 1,000 is. And this large Aleph has 1,000. And then I'm thinking, and then I go back into the ordinal letters, and that there's 22 letters, and then 5 finals, and those 5 finals each represent hundreds past the 400. So the Kaf is 500, the final Mem 600, final Nun 700, final Pei 800, final Zadok 900, and that's the 27, and that's kind of like 900. Why? Because the 28th letter, although it's not written down as a letter anymore, because we only go to the 28th letter, is a large Aleph. A large Aleph is 1,000. And that's our 28th letter. And that 28th letter, to me, I say, ooh. You know, one always talks about the Aleph before the Bet. The Atziliyut world, the Torah of Atziliyut, that Aleph before the Torah starts with a Bet. The ultimate question is, why does the Torah start with a Bet? The Torah starts with a Bet because that's the beginning, but there's a thing called the origin. The origin is before the beginning. And before the beginning, it's an Aleph, because everything is an Aleph, and that's 1,000. The Torah starts with a large Bet. Why would it start with a large Bet? Because the Aleph is a large Aleph, it's 1,000, and the large Bet is 2,000. There's a large Bet before the Aleph, and the Aleph and the Bet become Av, father. Av Harakamim. And so this large Aleph as the 28th letter. Because there are 22 letters basically, and then these 5 finals, almost rabbinic. Almost rabbinic. These 5 dinim, which in themselves, the 5 finals are 280, which are the 5 dinim. For you to find the original Aleph. And this 1,000 in the Aleph, you see, it's to show patience. Because, you know, quite frankly, there's a small Aleph in the Torah, in Vayikra, where it says Vayikra, and the small Aleph is high above the line and small. And that's 1. And that's 1 of 1,000. And that's what Moses became in that commentaries of this. He was a small Aleph of the 1,000. So there's 999 plus this small 1. And 999 just so happens to be the gematria of El Shaddai, fully spelt out. And El Shaddai, by the way, in its regular gematria is El 31 and Shaddai 314. So that comes out to be 345. That's Moses. So this small Aleph is 1. Plus the El Shaddai fully spelt out is 999. And in its regular gematria 345. And that's Moses. And by the way, the din of name Moses is 101, which is the angel Michael, which is my angel, and then my numbers, my personal number. And in my symbol, it's my number. And this symbol, I don't go into my symbol, but I have some things here. And so, this idea of patience in the 1,000, and the Aleph as origin before the Bet, and it's the 28th letter. And what do we have? Immediately after this 28th letter, we have Bereshis, bara Elohim, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Now everybody knows that. That's 28 letters. So the expression of the Aleph before the Bet in Bereshis is as 28, the 28th letter. And how is that expressed? That's expressed in the beginning of Bereshis as 28 letters. The manifestation of the 28th letter of the Aleph is the Bereshis. The manifestation of the 28th letter, the large Aleph, the 1,000, the Eric Ampin, the kind of, well, it's deeper than Eric Ampin, but it's the patience that one has to have. And when one goes into the world as patience and has patience, these are not medical patients, patience. When one has patience, sabur, one has that, then other things open up to you. The beginning opens up from the origin. I have a lot of things in my symbol because my symbol comes out to be Vayikra also. 317. The beauty here is that these energies open up to you. As you enter into them, they're other worlds. So as you receive, this is the beauty of life, that you can receive different levels and actually cause different coordinations and different hashgoka protus within your own consciousness. So when you can relate to the different levels of your 5 levels of the soul within the 5 worlds, and each one becoming different aspects within, you will get different vibrations. And just because I like to, speak so much, one of the great methodologies of doing this in all religions is a retaining of the seed, which is called celibacy. As you retain the seed, other levels open up to you. Because this seed, which comes out as, say, pleasure or lust, as it comes up, also has its own pleasure and lust in those higher worlds and manifestations in those higher worlds. So this El Shaddai is 999. Plus the small of Moses is 1. And that's 1,000. And that relates to the El Shaddai level, which is the level of the mezuzah, and another, and it's El Shaddai, it's Yesod. So it's not a question of pleasure, it's a question of how to utilize this pleasuristic energy. Pleasuristic energy. I like that word. And that comes from the Aleph. As 999 plus the Vayikra is one. Small Aleph in the Vayikra. All comes from the 28th letter as the origin.